Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, the Honorable Joseph Isaac pledges to work hard as he takes the oath of office as Minister of Government. Point Michelle residents displaced by Hurricane Maria receive keys to their new homes, and the Ministry of Sports revealed plans to fast-track restoration work at a major sporting ground. The details of the news coming up.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? We'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners. Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more. Smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
And first up in the news, former UWP Member of Parliament, the Honorable Joseph Isaac, was sworn in on Friday as the Labour administration's newest Minister of Government. Isaac will have responsibility for the new Ministry of Climate Resilience as well as Environment, Disaster Management and Mitigation and Urban Renewal. Here's a look at the swearing-in ceremony with the oath administered by His Excellency Charles Savary.
I, Joseph Isaac, do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to the Commonwealth of Dominica.
That I will faithfully bear true allegiance to the Commonwealth of Dominica.
So help me God.
So help me God.
The oath of office. I, Joseph Isaac, do swear.
I, Joseph Isaac, do swear.
That I will faithfully execute the office of Minister.
I will faithfully execute the office of Minister.
Without fear or favor.
Without fear or favor.
Affection or ill will.
Affection or ill will.
And that in the execution of the functions of that office.
And that in the execution of the functions of that office.
I will honor.
Uphold and preserve.
The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica.
So help me God.
So help me God.
The oath of secrecy. I, Joseph Isaac, being called upon to exercise the functions of Minister.
In the
Commonwealth of Dominica. Do swear. That except with the authority of the Prime Minister.
That except with the authority of the Prime Minister.
I will not directly or indirectly. Reveal the business or proceedings of the Cabinet. Or the nature or contents of any documents. Communicated to me. In my capacity as Minister. So help me God. This is your instrument of appointment as a Minister. Congratulations.
The new Climate Resilience Minister said the portfolio assigned to him is a very challenging one, and he remained committed to working hard to achieve the goals and the vision as outlined by the Prime Minister to make Dominica the world's first climate resilient nation. The minister said the idea is commendable and visionary, and he wasted no time in laying out part of his short-term agenda.
Working with the Prime Minister, who have recently appointed me, through the President, our focus will be first of all on housing, and I was talking about Roseau Central, housing in the city and also nationally to ensure that we can meet our resilient targets and to ensure that people are protected from the elements because we're going to face a new hurricane season. We'll be looking at stimulating the private sector because some of them actually had to lay off certain people, and those people who are involved in small businesses, we'll try to ensure that they are back on their feet. We'll look at, and I want the Forestry Division to hear what I'm saying, we'll look at rehabilitating the forest and aggressively moving to ensure that all the different areas are up to speed. So for the next 4 to 8 weeks, it will be about hard work. We'll push ties with Cabinet to ensure that any environmental legislation or creed legislation, we need to move on it speedily. So that is one of the agenda into my legislative agenda. And we look to re-engineer the approach to garbage collection in the city and the cleanliness of the city. I would like to commend the Honorable Robert Tong for the work which he has done so far. And also I've spoken to the Honorable Kenneth Darrow. He briefed me. Again, I would like to commend him for the effort which he has led in regards to the environment and a lot of the financial resources we have received because of him and the Prime Minister.
In his address, Isaac had a few words to say about his new boss.
Even in the political arena, you may have opponents. But even when you are a person opponent, but you admire that person, you have to show the respect. I admire the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is not only visionary, you know. You can know when someone is genuine. I've prayed, to me, that's the most I've prayed in my life. To disown. And I told the Prime Minister privately, so I can say it. I told him what I'm doing is sacrificing myself for country. But I'm doing it because I put full trust and confidence in him. And he said, comrade, I have your back. I remain committed to that vision to rebuild our country. That is why I accepted the PM's offer to work with the government for the betterment of Dominica. I hold no malice. It's all about love for country and love for people. That is one of the Prime Minister's strengths. I think it will go down as his legacy, his love for people. I admire that.
Turning his attention to thank his family, Isaac became a little emotional.
I would like to thank my mom, for her support and prayers and guidance over the years. It is emotional for me because my dad was the politician one, you know, interested in politics, and he's not there. My mom was the person who was all about academics. So I tried to balance my life to try to please both. So I tried to excel in academics, and some of my colleagues on there, they would attest to the fact that I was really involved in sports in a big way. So I was really trying to make my father happy too. So I hope my mom is proud today. I know I have a full support. So I'd like to also thank my family. My sister is here.
Meantime, Prime Minister Skerrit says his motivation to invite Mr. Isaac into his cabinet was first and foremost uniting the country. The Prime Minister says he believes that Hurricane Maria has presented that opportunity to work together, and those who are serious will take advantage of it.
My invitation to him to serve in his cabinet is one, a recognition of the fact that we have an opportunity to work to unite this country. Well, it's a small start, but it's a significant start. And my hope and prayer is that the rest of us in Dominica can take note of this. And he has been brought into the cabinet in a very serious manner. There is no tokenism in his engagement as a cabinet. This portfolio he has is a very serious portfolio, because we recognize that he has certain skills and talents that he could bring to bear to the country. And if we are saying, as leaders in this country, that we don't mind working together, we want to work together, we should work together, we have to be consulted, and then when opportunities are given to us, we are not prepared to accept it, then are we really sincere about our utterances? Are we just saying so because it sounds beautiful, it sounds nice to say? But do we genuinely, is it within our bosom, is it within ourselves to work together? It's an important day for Dominica that there is somebody in Dominica who was prepared to say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And these are not decisions that one take casually and based on emotion. It is something that requires profound thought and reflection and consultation. But I give you the assurance that you have taken the right decision. This is for Dominica. And as you indicated, history will tell.
In other news now, 2 sustainable housing development home units have been handed over to 2 families in Union Estate in Point Michel. This follows an announcement of the Prime Minister on Tuesday when he updated the nation 6 months after the passage of Hurricane Maria. 20 pilot houses had been commissioned, 10 for Point Michel and 10 for the Kalinago territory, 2 of the worst hit areas following the storm. 2 of the 10 houses allocated to Point Michel were handed over to their new owners on Friday.
Not only are you the recipients of the first 10 climate resilient housing solutions provided by the government, but I can also say to you this evening that of the 1,000 homes earmarked for construction under this particular program, at least another 60 homes will be constructed right here in the Soufriere constituency. Why are you likely to get 70 of the 1,000 homes, given that there are 21 constituencies in Dominica? It is because you were among the hardest hit communities. All 21 communities shall benefit from and be the recipient of houses built under this program. But those hardest hit shall obviously receive a larger number than the communities where devastation was less severe comparatively.
Sustainable Housing Solutions Limited of Barbados provided these 2 housing units.
It's been a tall order to achieve what you see here today, taking into account the logistics, terrain, and lack of resources during this rebuild period, which has its own natural challenges when embarking on such projects. The homes are designed to withstand high seismic and wind conditions in excess of Category 5 hurricanes, which were sustained here in Dominica. As you can see, they have a concrete roof. What is different about the roof is that it diffuses the heat so that inside of the homes are a lot cooler than what would be standard with a normal concrete home.
Safia Caprice and Elizabeth Pascal are the beneficiaries of these 2 houses. In more news, the hearing of criminal proceedings will resume by May and the civil court should be fully operational by the end of April, as renovation works are almost complete. Idona John Baptist reports.
Facing serious damage due to Hurricane Maria, court matters resumed but under constraints, with one sitting judge, Justice Bernie Stevenson, operating from the jury room of the High Court to hear civil matters, while the resident criminal judge, Justice Victoria Charles Clark, is not on island as a consequence of the disaster. Renovation of the High Court building in Roseau was then delayed because of a shortage of material and manpower on island. Registrar Ozzy Walsh says the civil court, which operated from the Barracoon building, will be moved downstairs of the civil registry.
Much of the work in the civil court, which the Honourable Minister made reference to, has been completed. Downstairs has been retrofitted for the civil to accommodate the civil court. As we know, the civil division of the Supreme Court operating in the Barracoon building, close to the post office. That building is still de-roofed. So we thought, rather than expending large sums of money to redo the roof and then do the repairs downstairs in the court, civil court, let's move the civil court to the main building, which would cost much less. And so said, so done. The work on the civil court is nearing completion. I would say 99% finished. Certainly it will be open this month. Currently, Justice Stevenson sits in the jury room. She's sitting this morning in the jury room to hear matters, which is not the most convenient place to sit to conduct court sittings.
A May target is being looked at for resumption of the criminal court, while Judge Stevenson has been addressing urgent criminal matters when the need arises.
With respect to the criminal court, has posed a bigger challenge to us. The good news is the damage which was done to the main building's roof, that has been addressed. Just about when the contractual work is finished, we can just equip the court, the criminal court, with what is needed, so we can hopefully start the sitting of the criminal court before too long. We're looking at hopefully next month for criminal court. We are trying our best. We hope there are no challenges that comes up in terms of materials again for the criminal court, repairs. So we are getting there.
Judge Victoria Charles Clark has been assigned to St. Kitts and Nevis as of February, pending the resumption of criminal matters here.
Justice Stevenson is comfortable in new accommodation. The Honorable Justice Stevenson lives at Wall House right now. She's no longer at Monbruce. Justice Clark, who is still out of the jurisdiction, her residence at Mount Daniel has been substantially repaired. The air condition is back in, the roof repairs have been done, the ceiling has been done. It's just a matter of putting her bed and the necessary things to go in, and putting her remote for her gate, and that should be about there. Completed hopefully by the end of this month into May. We have to ensure all the files are in place as well, so it's not just opening the court. We have to ensure that we're on all fours, everything is in place. The DPP is ready with respect to the first matter. The lawyer on the other side is also ready, has his files. All the witnesses are in place. So getting the criminal court going is a little bit of a challenge, but we will get there as soon as Justice Charles Clark starts the case management session with respect to criminal matters, which she will do very soon.
And 2 days after the Minister for Tourism said the Jazz and Creole product was being reviewed with the possibility of having it staged later this year, there's news that it has been cancelled. The announcement was made through a press release from the Discover Dominica Authority on Friday, stating that the event, which was initially planned for May 20, will not be hosted. This comes at a time when Tourism and Culture Minister Robert Tong says the Dominica Festivals Commission was restructuring the production of the event. He said he was awaiting that report to take back to Cabinet for approval. Channel 5 News learned that Dr. Lennox Honeychurch was preparing Fort Shirley at the Cabrit National Park for the event. Pointing out there were many challenges, DDA in its press release thanked the stakeholders of the event who had been working with them as they explored staging that event. Speaking to Channel 5 News on Tuesday, CEO of Discover Dominica Authority Colin Piper did not give the impression that Jazz and Creole was certain to happen. However, he says plans are underway for the staging of the World Creole Music Festival.
As it relates to activities by DDA and the tourism industry, seen as we're going after the visiting friends and relatives, Dominican communities residing abroad, understanding that they're sympathetic to our current state of affairs, we're looking to do events that they can, come to Dominica and besides offering hope and moral support to their families, also partake in those. So that's why we would have had Carnival, and all roads lead to the fact that we should be staging World Creole Music Festival as part of Dominica's 40th anniversary of independence. And so we're now dotting the I's and crossing the T's as it relates to just getting final approval for that.
You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll continue right after the break.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001-275-5003 today.
Thank you for staying with us. Director of Tourism Colin Piper is throwing his support behind the merging of culture and tourism under one ministry.
Speaking at the launching of Domfesta earlier this week, Piper said the effects of Hurricane Maria displayed the need to expand the tourism product.
Post Maria, we have had to look at how we diversify away from a product that is really and truly based on nature. That will still continue to be the core of what Dominica's product offering is. But we are looking to diversify and looking at niches such as voluntourism and things like that. And the whole area of cultural tourism and creative tourism is one, and heritage tourism is one that has come to the fore. We want to kind of indicate our interest and our focus in working much closer in trying to develop those sorts of products so that DDA, much like we market hiking and we market diving, can now market in a greater way Dominica's culture.
Piper went on to say that tourism and the culture officials have enjoyed a close relationship, and working together under one ministry will only augur well for the overall product.
We've always had this loose relationship, so to speak, this loosely coupled relationship. Members of DDA have been on the Independence Committee, and members of the Division of Culture, vice versa, on certain committees to develop certain things for tourism. Prior to the most recent announcement, it was our intention to pick a couple activities that we could really and truly partner in a more meaningful way. And Domfesta happens to be one where we have the meeting of the event, Domfesta, as well as we have the meeting of Tourism Awareness Month.
Prime Minister Skerrit announced in his cabinet reshuffle on Tuesday that Senator Robert Tong would head the Ministry of Tourism and Culture.
And the Ministry of Health has reaffirmed its commitment to improving the welfare of its employees.
Minister for Health Dr. Kenneth Daru made the announcement when speaking at the Princess Margaret Hospital Awards and Recognition Ceremony on Thursday.
I would like to reassure each and every one of you of this ministry's commitment to the welfare, to the increased welfare of each and every staff of the Ministry of Health and Social Services, and of course to the continued betterment of the health services here in Dominica. We are fully aware of the difficulties, of your challenges, and we applaud those of you who continue to put your best foot and faces, of course, forward in spite of these challenges.
On the issue of nursing attrition, Daru says the ministry will continue to hold talks with the nurses to hear and address their concerns.
The nursing situation, we recognize, is a very acute one. We have the nursing attrition, a lot of our nurses leaving. And we have already dialogued with some of you, with some of the nursing bodies, as it pertains to some changes, and within the next few days, we will have some positive changes effected to include increasing night allowance, special income allowance, etc. Of course, the issues of increased pay and increased salaries, etc., is a much more intense one that will need much more intense discussion. Some of them, of course, not within the purview of yours truly. Again, I salute those of you who would have remained here and continue to work. Patriotism, my people, is not a term that should be cliched as it is being used these days. Patriotism is something that we live, we practice, and we live it.
According to data from the Ministry of Health, 14 nurses left the island following Hurricane Maria, while the same number left prior to the hurricane.
And finally, a subsistence allowance is being provided for senior citizens in the Maho constituency aged 60 and over. The program, which was launched in Massac, where 49 people are benefiting, was extended to Campbell and Maho this week. 32 residents of Campbell have so far received funds. The assistance follows a comprehensive assessment done within the constituency.
What we realized during our assessment, the number of persons was above 60 and above, but they're also below 70. And they may have some challenges too. So what we have decided to do in the constituency, we launched a program last month in Massac. And then we're doing it today in Massac and, Campbell and Maho. So we're providing $400 for the next 4 months in the first instance. What I shall do is to, after the 3 months, we actually evaluate to find out as to whether there's a need to extend it for 6 more months. You get my point? Yes. So what we're doing today is we're going to give you the first month. And then on the 11th of every other month, the 10th, 12th? Thank you very much. I know she's a teacher. The 12th of every other month, you'll go to get it from the Mao Council.
Moving on from Campbell to Maho, Blackmore spoke to some of the more pressing needs in the constituency.
We have a unique situation in the Mao constituency because we're huge in terms of size. And then we have a huge housing need also. I'm just coming from Campbell now. We have been able to do the analysis in the constituency as to the persons who need homes in the entire constituency. And I can say to you, based on our actual assessment, which is scientific, 311 families need housing in the Mao constituency. You cannot do that at once. I have some good news for you. Before I came here, our leader called me, our Prime Minister called me, and said, I'm giving you 100 houses for your constituency.
That's news. Your sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fence pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
First up, the Ministry of Sports says it is on track with work at a major sporting ground. The removal of debris at Geneva Playing Field has been complete, and the Minister for Sports is looking at the end of April to tackle Phase 2 of restoration work there.
I spoke to the CTO in the Ministry of Public Works because that was where a little delay was because of the overwhelming amount of work that they have to do. But they did present it to the ministry, the costing for grading, because what we've done is we've taken off all the heavy silt and the logs and everything that was on there. And so all we have to do now is to grade it. So we now got the estimate for the grading and for the repairs of the pavilion from Public Works. My permanent secretary has written to the Ministry of Finance to ask for, because we had monies allocated in last year's budget, and definitely we have to use it in this financial year. So she's going to now request that, that those funds do the reservation of those funds so that we can use it on the Geneva Playing Field.
Charles outlined some details of a plan to fast-track the completion of work at Geneva.
Once we can get the funds down to the ministry, we will, to expedite the work, we will probably work with the village council, because usually that goes a little faster. We will work with the Granby Village Council to ensure that the work is probably done. We're hoping that Public Works was supposed to have worked with us, but we will continue to work to find out if it's Public Works or who else we will give, because we must have a grader to be able to do the work. The person must have a grader to be able to perform the duties. But we hope we're in the month of April, and I'm saying too, between April and May, we should see serious work going on in the Geneva Playing Field.
The Geneva Playing Field was one of the major sporting grounds utilized by many associations before Hurricane Maria. The Ministry of Sports is giving its commitment to have it restored the soonest. We continue with an update from the Commonwealth Games, where national cyclist Bram Sanderson is looking to defy the odds in the men's competition soon. Sanderson will face the most difficult challenge in his career when he participates in Saturday's grueling road race. Earlier this week, Sanderson competed in the time trials and gave a good account of himself. However, unlike the time trials, which were solo events, Sanderson will challenge some of the top riders in the world in an event designed for team participation, which spans over 100 kilometers.
I'm with Mr. David Kinja, and he told me I should not even really worry about the team right now. It's just to look for the best opportunity and hold on as long as I can. There are many teams there that will be able to do the work for me. It's just being able to hold on to them as long as you can will give you the opportunity. You might get a breakaway, you might be, in the midst where you don't have to do much work, seeing that it's you alone. So they could watch behind and see you there, and they wouldn't expect you to come to the front to do any work. So just get a better opportunity to just hang on to one of the better teams, and you'll see where that can bring you in the race. Anything can happen.
Meantime, national javelin thrower Andre Basil recently threw a season-best 65.81 meters at the Games, but his efforts were not enough to secure a spot in the final of the men's javelin throw. Basil fouled on his first attempt before throwing 58.84 on his second and 65.81 on his third and final throw. However, the national athlete missed the automatic qualifying mark of 78 meters and finished 9th out of 12 throwers in his zone. We continue with this item where 4 matches are scheduled in the Dominica Cricket Association's Intermediate League this weekend. On Saturday, newcomers Grassroots Cricket Academy will be hoping to hold their own against Veteran Summit Sports Club at Botanic Gardens. Over at Windsor Park, Najiko Northern Stars will travel south to go head-to-head with the experienced Kalinago All-Stars team. The action continues on Sunday, where Tremors, Point Michelle Cricket Academy and Gallion combined will be hoping their team will have what it takes to defeat Starlights at Botanic Gardens. Finally, Marino Blasters Sports Club will be looking to get one step closer to dethroning defending champion Sagicor Somerset Sports Club in their encounter at Windsor Park. All matches begin at 11 in the morning. And there were wins for Dominica Grammar School and St. Mary's Academy in the Sports Division School's Under-20 Basketball League on Thursday. Beginning with the male encounter between SME and Pierre Charles Secondary, we can tell you that the combined efforts of Jacob Barry 18, Jonathan Henderson 15 and Koath Barron 10 helped put SMA in a dominant position to win the game 59-47. In a losing effort, the PCSS boys found little advantage on their home court with a valiant 20 points from Yawani Regis and Daniel Carbon 14 with 6 rebounds. Over at St. Joseph Harcourt, DGS finished 8 points ahead in a low-scoring encounter against Isaiah Thomas Secondary. For DGS, Ariel Rogers netted 10 points and Janae Seraphine 8. For ITSS, we had Shernice Joseph coming in with 10 points, while Jennifer Joseph contributed 6. Final scores 31-22. The competition continues on Monday between Dominica State College and St. Mary's Academy at Lindo Park, while Pierre Charles Secondary will get a chance at redemption when they come up against Portsmouth Secondary at St. Joseph. Both games are in the male category and scheduled to begin at 3 in the afternoon. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Do have yourself an awesome weekend.
TB estene e ben tout se, moun ki en bonne santé oli wen ka respire se vermine lan. Moun ki pa ni bon tepe waman kon sa ki ni maladi HIV, alcool, ka fime, ti mamay e gwa moun bien sensible pour ces maladies sa la. Moun ki ka tousse ni pou pran précaution le yo en parmi moun en place publique. Couvre bouchou le ou ka estene e tousse. Visite docteur e ben place santé yo. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa jwen guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou, aider du bout si men maladie TB et HIV. Protéger corps et les autres.
To end the news, the headlines again. The Honorable Joseph Isaac pledges to work hard as he takes the oath of office as Minister of Government. Point Michelle residents displaced by Hurricane Maria receive keys to their new homes, and the Ministry of Sports reveals plans to fast-track restoration work at a major sporting ground. Feel free to contact us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.